What's up, guys, and welcome to the module on Mindsets in Charisma University. Now, I have to say this module is the latest one that I've recorded, much later than all of the other ones, but I'm going to put it first because I realized I left a huge gap in Charisma University, and it was because in my haste to get you guys to the things that you could do, day one, what are you going to say, how are you going to look people in the eye, who are you going to shake hands with, I forgot that there's some very fundamental mindsets that are going to make all of that work more smoothly, and I started seeing issues coming up in the comments, so I want to go ahead and address those right off the bat. So these mindsets are to make you get more, not just out of Charisma University, but out of your life. So without any further ado, let's dive right into them. All right, mindset number one. Now, this is not one that I walk around shouting at the top of my lungs everywhere I go. It's not one that I think I say explicitly too often on the YouTube channel either. But now that you're here, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to level with you, and I'm going to tell you the truth that I don't shout at people, but I wish people got, which is that your relationships are the most important thing in your life. It's not how much money you have. It's not how jacked you are, though health is absolutely important. Your relationships are what create happiness, are what create a sense of connection, are what create your ability to contribute and grow in this world. More than anything else, and I've seen it personally as well as with people that have gone through this exact course. And I don't know how much you know about my story, but I'm not just talking about fulfillment and feeling happy, which is incredible and everybody should want. I'm talking about concrete results. For instance, in my first job, I was an analyst, right, which meant I was the bottom of the totem pole. And after about a year and a half of working there, I walked in, I had a conversation with the president of the company, who I was on good terms with. We liked one another. And he did something that he had never done for me because I asked and because we had a relationship. And that was that he gave me a remote work arrangement. I could move to New York City and live with my friends, which was at that time exactly what I wanted. And because of that, he had to shuffle some things around, make me a contractor, and he doubled my salary basically. I made another $60,000 to $70,000 per year in a 20-minute conversation. And it wasn't because anybody could have done that. It was because we had this relationship. Ben, the co-founder of Charisma on Command, at the same exact was getting bonuses, and he got the biggest bonus possible. Again, he would tell you this not because he was the best worker or put in the most hours, but because the people there liked him. And they said as much in his review, which is that Ben is culturally accretive, meaning everybody here likes Ben, you get the top bonus. You out there, these are huge results, but you can also get little things that are really nice on a day-to-day basis. You start to get discounts on food. This happened just the other day. I got a free gym membership the other day. I'm in town just for a few days. I spoke to the guy. He gave me a free day's gym membership just because we chatted for a minute. You're going to start to see that people compliment you more. They laugh more at your jokes. And at a fundamental level, you don't have to worry about being alone because you know that wherever you go, you can make new friends. You can date people that you really like. You can find business partners that are incredible. You don't have the same fear of the world and rejection that most people do because you know you have the ability to create whatever it is that you want because of the charisma that radiates from you and attracts people to you. So I tell you all of this, not just to get you hyped on the course. I want you hyped on the course. I think it's absolutely incredible, and I'm not going to be shy about that. But because when we speak to people who haven't gotten what they wanted out of Charisma University, and who I hope they'd get out of Charisma University, we send them a survey, and we ask them, what can we do? And at the beginning, we got some feedback, tweak this, tweak that, here's some action guides, and we did those things. At this point, by far, the most common feedback that we get about what we could do to make Charisma University better is not feedback for us. It's the person says, I just didn't have the time. I was too busy. Work caught up to me, school caught up to me, and I couldn't do what I had intended to do. I didn't watch it, and I didn't do the action guides. So I realized at this point, the best thing I can give for you is to get you to commit to whatever period of time you are comfortable or maybe even stretching yourself to be comfortable committing to. Charisma University is intended to be a 6-week course with some bonus modules on the back end. So if you're willing to commit to 1 week, to do first impressions, do the action guide every day to make sure that you watch everything, commit to that. Go ahead, write it below in the comments. Make a declaration. If you're going to do 2 weeks because you're on board, you think that this can absolutely change your life, write that. I'm in for 2 weeks. And even if one day doesn't work, you continue on, you make it through 2 weeks. If you believe what I am saying, if you trust me, and I know we may not have met at this point, if you believe in what I'm talking about, commit to 6 weeks. Go all the way through this course. Do everything that you can to get as much value out of it, because I promise you, it's the people who make it to the end, who commit to 6 weeks, who have 2 bad days that don't go the way that they want, but stick it through and come out the other side, that get the most value, that wind up. I've seen people get married after taking a course like this. I've seen people get huge promotions, move to new cities, and create new groups of friends. And these things are possible for you, but you might have to reshuffle your priorities, particularly if that means that you're going to watch less TV, spend less time surfing the web, or less time drinking with your buddies, right? You could still spend time doing all of those things. What we're asking for to commit means about 2 to 3 hours per week, 1 or so hours watching the videos, and then 10 to 20 minutes per day on the action guides. So whatever you think is right for you, write it below. If you're not going to commit at all, write "I don't commit." At least be honest with yourself. If you're going to commit to 1 week, write that. If you're up for 6, write that too. And I encourage you, stretch yourself here. This is a huge pivotal moment. I cannot emphasize this enough. It's the mindset that you go into this course with, not just with this course, but with your life, will dictate what you take from it. Worst case, you commit to 6 weeks, you spend a couple hours a week doing it, doesn't work for you, and you've wasted a few hours. Best case, you commit to the 6 weeks, you push through some times that might be a little bit tricky or difficult, and you come out the other side as just a more radiant, vibrant human being. So go down below, write what your commitment is in the comments. I look forward to reading them. And of course, I'm going to see you in the next mindset. So for the second mindset, I want to talk about failure, and I'm going to share with you a personal experience of that. So a couple years back, when I was a consultant, before I got my arrangement, I was out to dinner with the team that I had. We just finished up a job and we were celebrating. So it was 7 sitting out at dinner in Washington, D.C. And it's all of us guys, all us suit and ties, just kind of talking about work stuff. And I'm sitting there very comfortable, very cool, very calm. And then my heart jumps, as into the same restaurant walks my hero. That's Tim Ferriss. For those of you who don't know, Tim Ferriss wrote The 4-Hour Workweek. I, at the time, was starting the business that would eventually evolve into Charisma on Command. And I instantly recognize him, and he sits down at the table right next to us. So here I am, sitting with all these guys, cool, calm, and collected 1 second, and then I turn beet red. I literally start sweating. My hands start to shake, because this is not just my hero, but this guy, he's giving people opportunities to share their business on his blog, and I've seen it explode these businesses in the past. So the opportunity of a lifetime literally just walked in and sat down right next to me. So I start to hyperventilate a little bit. The people at the table can see. They ask me if I'm okay. You look kind of sick, man. And I say, yeah, it's okay. That's just an author that I really like. And yeah, they go, oh, okay, like, cool. So they continue talking between themselves, and I have this moment of panic where I don't know what to do. I want to go talk to him. I'm terrified. He's got his computer. Will I be bothering him? And I decide, trembling, okay, I'm going to just do it. I stand up, walk over to him. I say, hi, you're Tim Ferriss, right? And he looks up and he smiles at me. He says, yeah. Say, I just wanted to tell you that your book changed my life, and I just wanted to really thank you for it so much. I said, cool. So what's your deal? What are you working on? And he asked me what I'm working on. The truth is, I'm working on one of his Muse businesses, but in that moment, I just panicked. And I said, yeah, I'm working on the stuff from your book. It's been really cool, but okay. And I went to the bathroom. I walked right past, and we talked for about 40 seconds. I went, man, I shot myself in the foot. Eventually, I came out, I sat down, I went back 10 minutes later, totally spooked. And again, he could sense this in me. And the next time I came up, he wasn't as warm and friendly. And I said, hey, could I take you out to lunch? He said, I'm sorry, man, I got this stuff going on, but good luck. And that was it. Nothing came of it. And I felt like such a screw up, such a failure at that moment. And what I want to share with you is that I see the same mentality in Charisma University. People who go out, they do the first day, they say, man, day 1 went great, because they keep a log. By the way, you can do this in our forums. They say, day 1 went great, day 2 went great, everybody responded positively. Day 3 was a failure because people didn't respond well. And what I've had to realize since this experience and through watching people have similar ones is that if you judge a failure by people not responding well, or by you not performing as well as you could have, you will sabotage yourself in life. The most successful people judge successes by if they attempted as best they could in that minute. And the truth is, even though I screwed it up, even though I totally blew it. In that moment, I was terrified. I was freaked out. I'd never had an experience like that. And I did stand up and I did talk to him and I went back again twice and I even got shot down a second time. So I share this with you because even if you don't adopt this in your life, which I hope you do, in Charisma University, I want you to measure your success in terms of honest, full-hearted attempts. Do you go through the exercises and try to do them as best as you can? They're really not that hard. It's not whether people respond well to you, and they are designed so that people likely will. But you can't get discouraged if people on one day don't. You don't know what's going on in their day. If you come up to them warm, smiley, do everything charismatic, and they're just pissed, you're not going to get the right response out of them, and that can't make you feel like a failure. Now, we're still going to be learning from negative experiences, right? Why didn't that go well? We're going to be reflecting. Ask me questions. I can give you tips. But do not consider anything that is a full-hearted attempt a failure. Because if you do that, what you're neglecting to realize is that your life is not just one interaction with Tim Ferriss. It's not just one interaction with a person in your work. You're going to get more opportunities. And as you categorize more attempts as failures, you're not going to attempt as much in the future. So, anything that is an honest try in Charisma University is a rousing success. If I could give you a bear hug, I would. So when you go through these action guides, to be completely in your control. I never ask you to go up and make an amazing first impression on someone. What I will say is go up, and when that person says, "How are you?" be better than good, be fantastic, be phenomenal, and just say that back to them and feel it in yourself. That you can control. Whether or not that makes the great first impression is partially up to them. So we're going to take care of the things we can control. We're going to do full-hearted attempts, and then the world in its aggregate will respond positively. But you can't control each individual interaction, even when it's with Tim Ferriss. So that's it for the second mindset. Failure needs to be rewired in your head. Any full-hearted attempt counts, and I will see you in the third mindset. Okay, so for the third mindset, I want to share with you guys another story, not as charisma related, this one, but it happened about 8 months ago. I was in Zion National Park, and there's a hike there called Angel's Landing. Beautiful hike if you've not seen it. And the first part is a little bit grueling, but very fun. It's some switchbacks up. It's kind of tough on your legs, but you get there. And about halfway to 3/4 through, it gets a little bit trickier. Not trickier in terms of difficulty, but just in terms of mental scare if you're afraid of heights like I am. So there's this part that is kind of slanted like this, and as you walk, you're totally fine, but if you were to slip, you could fall 1,000 feet. 10-year-olds do it every day. It's not particularly hard, but my brain is freaking out. So I get through that, and then there's another part that is about 4 to 6 feet wide. So, like, you know, I can walk a line 4 to 6 feet wide, but on either side is a 1,200-foot drop. And at this point, I chickened out. I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to sit right here. You guys go to the top. I'll see you in 20 minutes. And I didn't go. And I'm not particularly proud of that. I don't think that that was the right decision. Part of me wishes that I say this to demonstrate that when it comes to physical danger and fear of heights, I am less brave than a lot of 10-year-olds are, right? There were little kids blazing by me on this trail. But when it comes to social courage, I am regularly told that I'm the most courageous and confident person that other people have seen. And I want to draw a distinction between these two because it's very important. Okay, mindset number 4. So for this one, I want to talk about how you interact with yourself as you're going through some of these exercises. Now, when I started this, I didn't have Charisma University, but I was starting to learn how to set goals that got me closer to where I wanted to go. And we'd start with these very small goals. So Ben and I, for instance, might go into Chipotle, and we'd say, okay, when we get to the front of that counter, the person's going to say, do you want black beans or do you want pinto beans? And rather than answer them right away, we're just going to say, hey, how's it going? How's your day? That'd be it, right? And so we get to the front of the line, black or pinto, hey, how's it going? How's your day? And they might look up and go, oh, my day's great, man. How's yours? And I'd respond, and then I'd, black beans, please, and then we'd go down the line. When we did that, as we got out of line, we would actually, I'm not kidding, we would like high five about having said, hey, how's your day going, right? And we talk, man, that guy was so happy. Did you see how his face lit up when we did that? For a while, I thought we were just weird. I thought we just liked these dumb things. Just a strange thing that we did that wasn't necessary. But as I became a coach and as I started working with more people, I realized that this celebrating these tiny victories is essential if you want long-term success. Because I remember, for instance, we had one client who was working with us because he was very shy around women, and he was in his upper 30s, and he hadn't been on a date in years. And over the course of like 3 weeks, he went on, I think, 3 or 4 dates with women that he was interested in. Some of them turned into second dates, some of them didn't. And we talked to him at the end of those couple of weeks. We said, "Man, how you doing? You got another date set up? You're pretty excited." He said, "Yeah, but like 2 of them were just duds, and this next one, like, I like her, but she's just, I don't think I'm gonna get married to her or anything. So like, I don't know, I'm just pretty down." And my mind was blown. I mean, this is a guy who hadn't gone on a date in years. And in a course of a couple of weeks, he's been on 4 dates with women that he liked but weren't quite his wife, and he was beat up. And I realize this is common because so many people, maybe you, have this belief that if you want to get more out of yourself, you have to never be satisfied. Always demand more. That could not be more wrong. If you want to get more anybody, whether it's another person or yourself, there's one psychologically proven way to do that, and that is positively reinforce good behavior. Punishment, beating yourself up, self-sabotage, that doesn't work, right? It feels crappy in the moment, and it actually dissuades you from doing the right things down the line. So when you get someone to smile at Chipotle, when you do an exercise, whether it goes well or not, celebrate the little victory. You can do that with yourself. You can do that with a supportive group of friends. You can write in the comments or the forums. Just record your day and get into it for 2 reasons that I've mentioned. One, it's going to make the whole process so much more enjoyable for you. Like high-fiving over whether your team hits a home run or you made someone at Chipotle smile feels good, right? And the second thing is that you're actually helping your long-term success. You're building motivation to do the types of things that are going to create better outcomes in your life. One other quick thing, because this is not just about Charisma University here. I see this in business, and I really attribute part of the success that Charisma on Command has had to this mentality, and I've seen it in other people. I remember I'd worked for 3 or 4 months to write a book, create a website, have a bunch of blog articles, and then I put a book up for $9.99, my ebook. And between the delivery fee and the apps that we were paying, the profit on it was like $5 to $7. Plus I'd invested all this money in hosting. I was in the red. But when we sold one book, I was over the moon. Like, this was incredible. I just made $7 on the internet after spending 4 months. Can you believe it? It's incredible. And I was so excited. And then we didn't sell any for another 3 or 4 days. And then we sold another, and it was, again, awesome. And that to me was great, right? I want to get this bigger, but holy cow, it's working. That was what I thought. This is working, and I can make this work. I've since seen other people start businesses and have more success than I did, faster than I did, to the tune of like much higher amounts of money. And so quickly they get it. Their client only wanted to do 2 packages instead of 4, or yeah, but I got him because my friend recommended him, so it doesn't count. And they're so quick to this isn't a success and to not congratulate themselves. And invariably, these are the people who do not succeed over the long term. So celebrate your little successes. Celebrate them with me. Share them in the comments. I'll get back. I'll throw you an air high five, whatever it is. Whatever you need to do to feel good about those little attempts and those little fractions of moments where people really light up, or even the big ones, right? Really celebrate those. That's going to get you so much more out of this course and out of your life. So for the 5th mindset, I want to talk about 2 ways of living. And the first way is called playing to win, and the second way is called playing not to lose. So if you think to the sports analogy here, whether it's football or basketball, maybe you've watched a team that had the lead, and because they had the lead, they got very defensive. They started thinking, you know what, let's not take any risks, let's play less offense, let's just be defensive for a while. And what happens to those teams, not all the time, but fairly often, is when they shift their strategy to playing not to lose rather than playing to win, they implode, and there's a come from behind victory by the other team. Now, in life, this same thing happens, except almost everybody is playing not to lose. And what I mean by that is when people walk into a room, they don't go thinking, man, how can I make an amazing friend here? How can I walk out of this room with one great business connection? Instead, they think, how can I not make any bad impressions? How can I make sure that nobody dislikes me? And when you think that way, what starts to happen to you is that the only way to make no bad impressions is to make no impression at all. And I want to share with you some of the things that happen when you play to win. I just went through a personal development program this last couple of weekends, actually. It was several weekends. And one of the first things that you do is there's a lot of experiential exercises. And I try to play to win in a lot of areas of my life. So I'm outgoing, I'm talkative, I'm in the breaks, I'm making friends with people. But also there was a moment in class where there were rules to one of the things. And I felt that they were inappropriate, that they were poorly devised and not right for the people. And I raised my hand and I calmly stated why. Listen, this is not making sense to me. It's just not working for me here. And we went for about 10 to 15 minutes with the instructor and I back and forth. I was never unreasonable, but eventually I sat down, having expressed how I thought, and I said, listen, I'm going to stick with it, but I don't think that this is right. So sat down, we go by. One of the next exercises that we have is everyone in the room has to pick one person who has a characteristic that they don't admire, right? And they have to go up to them and talk to them. And very much because of this last interaction, a whole bunch of people come up to me, right? I don't get the most in the room. There's people that have more people come up for other reasons, but I get a fair amount of people that say that was self-righteous, that was arrogant, you took up a lot of people's time, etc. True things, right? That happens. And does it feel great? Not exactly. And it's a bummer because at that point there's some people that are probably feeling a little bit alienated from me. But we also do a part where now you have to pick someone in the room, which is someone or who is someone that has traits that you admire. And we do this, and so many people come up to me that I'm the last one there, meaning that the entire room is silent and there's still a line of people who have to tell me the thing that they admire in me, that I'm confident, that I'm honest, that I stand up for what I believe in, and that I've earned their respect. And this is very common when you play to win, which is that you will alienate some people. But there's also going to be a silent majority oftentimes of people who are inspired by the fact that you stood up, that you took a stand. You cannot make everybody like you. Whether we're talking Gandhi or Mother Teresa, they have haters. They have more haters than you or I ever could dream of. But when you play to win, when you do what you think is right, you're going to get those haters, but you're also going to get such a group of people who are inspired by you, who want to be near you, and who are drawn and attracted to you. So when you go into a room, play to win. Think about the best thing that you could get out of it, an amazing friend, whatever kind of relationship you want, maybe a date. And don't play to lose. Don't go in and think, man, I just don't want to screw this up. When you're on a first date, play to win, right? Find out if this person is right for you, if you really connect. Don't play to lose. Playing to lose would mean sitting there going, I'm just going to try not to screw this up. I'll give non-committal answers that I think he or she likes. If you go through life playing to win, meaning what is victory for me and how do I get there, and I'm going to take a stand, and even if people don't like it or I lose, at least I'll have tried, you're going to get so much more of what you want, not just from this course, but from your life. So that's the last mindset that I want to touch on today, and I will see you guys, of course, now in the next module, which has a lot more actions for you to take. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.